Alright, so first off, this is a little awkward, not that me or Jonathan aren't not used to being in front of the camera, especially like just being content creators, but sitting down and talking directly to a camera in this sense, at least for me so far, is a lot different than like normal filming.
Yeah, it's the same for me too, because I mean, I don't know. I got this idea where me and him were arguing yesterday, and I was just like, well, maybe we should start a podcast. I was like, because maybe people would enjoy me and him bickering back and forth since we don't agree on every car topic ever.
Yeah, and obviously this isn't going to be the first car style podcast or anything like that, and I don't even know. Again, this right now is just a test run. We're talking about it maybe an hour or two ago. Pulled out the table, pulled out the chair, say why not give it a shot, and go from there. So hopefully this goes well. I think our dynamic with this kind of stuff will be good, just because there's a lot that me and Jonathan agree on when it comes to cars, but we also have very different takes on a lot of other things. So it's not just going to be like, oh yeah, that's great. We see things a lot differently and things like that. So all in all, I think it'll be a good experience between the both of us. We might argue a little too much, but at the same time,
I think it's content. It's funny.
Exactly.
You guys might laugh at us because content.
Yeah, so we'll give it a shot and see. As it's still kind of new, we were kind of talking about what the first topic of this might be, but as it recently came out, I think we kind of agreed that we're going to talk about the Streethunter kit that recently came out for the BRZ.
For the Gen 1 BRZ FRS 86 platform, because me and him have two very, very different opinions on this.
We have different opinions on it. It just came out and SEMA's coming up. From what it seems like, this is going to be debuted at SEMA and we'll get to see it. So, getting to talk about it a little bit before actually seeing it in person, and then maybe come back to it after we get to see it at SEMA, kind of see if our thoughts change or not.
Because as you guys know, I mean, I was a BRZ owner. And when I first got that car, my whole thing was I wanted the rally backer kit to start with the 86 front end conversion, and then it changed from that to wanting the aim game kit, because the aim game kit with the 86 front end conversion, because it doesn't have exposed hardware, and I was really looking forward to that. And then we went to SEMA last year, and TJ came out with a video and he said that he really likes Cam's car, which if you guys don't know, it's the black FRS that he put the Ellis in. It has like the super crazy engine setup, and it's like everything's custom fab, it's super nice in person. But he said because he liked that car so much that he was gonna make a Streethunter kit for a Gen 1 BRZ. And then it got me thinking like, well, maybe I might save up for that kit, and then I want another Z, so then I sold that car. But he had an opinion on me waiting for that kit, and now that it came out, I'm not. So I don't know if I should just go straight into my opinion.
I mean, and just go for it. I mean, that's what a podcast is for the most part anyways, right? It's just discussing. I feel like if we try and structure it too much, you know what I mean?
That's true.
So
okay, my opinion on it.
Tell him that you don't like the kit. Look at the camera. Tell TJ specifically, if he was watching this, that you're not happy with how he designed the kit.
TJ, I'm sorry. I don't like the kit. Not personally. It's not the whole kit. There's just a few aspects of the kit that I really just disliked. And I was very hyped for the kit, and I really wanted to buy it. But now that it came out, I don't know. And I understand too, like there's certain aspects that you have to keep, since there's so many kits already out for that platform. Such a big platform for aftermarket parts. Like there's already so much that's been done to it. But I just think I see the inspiration from other kits that are in it, like, especially like having Miley and it being like, he had the Rocket Bunny, the V1, the V2 kit, and then he had the V3 kit. There's so much of the V3 Rocket Bunny kit that's into that kit, and then just like changed in like certain other aspects that I just didn't like.
So you just feel like it's too close to the other options, which I understand, but also like at what point, like what other options do you have? You know what I mean? Like to design something, because the inspiration is there, but the body lines, in my opinion, are different. The vents that are there are different. Like it's not the same kit, and I feel like you think that it's pretty much the same exact kit, which
it's not the same exact kit in the front end. The front end's completely different, but the rear end and the side skirts, to me, as soon as I saw it, were like copy paste Rocket Bunny. Like the exposed hardware on the fender, the side skirts, the exposed hardware on the rear over fenders, the body line on the rear over fender, the big vent on the rear over fender, the rear vent or the vent on the side skirt. I just like the front view of it. I immediate thought Rocket Bunny V3. Like it was identical in my opinion. And I know you think it doesn't, but like I think it looks
like
so
I think it's
to
close enough. But again, my thing with it is, okay, even if it is similar, it still has its different accents enough that it's a different kit. Like take the Stardust kit for 350s and the Rocket Bunny kit. Like the rear fenders on there are almost identical. You know, besides like the very end part. Like fenders, same thing. It starts like the front piece is kind of the same that the Rocket Bunny has, and then it just varies by the rear fender. Like, you know, especially when you're creating a kit from scratch, like, you know, it's, at least from my point of view, because I've tried thinking of different kits to build myself for like the 350 and stuff, and I can't even fully fathom how to like create, you know, something from scratch and like, you know.
Yeah, you mean a body kit for this car though.
Well, yeah, but, and with that, I mean, that was, you know, Yaz that thought of most of the shapes. And even with that, like this kind of car is just super square, and like I feel like there's only so much, you know, so many options that you can kind of take.
Yeah, I think my opinion on it though is like, if you would have gotten rid of the side skirt vent and just kept the rear quarter panel or over fender vent, I would have been perfectly fine with it, just because it's different enough and I wouldn't have saw so much inspiration from the Rocket Bunny kit. I just think there's just too much there from it that it's just, it doesn't give you, I mean, I get like it's a new company and you're trying to make your own style and stuff. I just think like, compared to the other kits he's came out with, it's just too heavily inspired by a previous kit.
Fair enough, but as you said, it's such like a high, there's so many other kits for that specific car that like when he came out with one for the C8 or the Supra and stuff like that, like the market wasn't that saturated, you know what I mean? So he was able to like build something off of his that was completely unique because there wasn't a lot, you know, from him to pull from. Whereas with the BRZs, you know, again, it's so saturated that why wouldn't you kind of take what you like from other kits and make them into your own, especially if you're, you know, there's that brand that you're trying to build for yourself and kind of stay with that same dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's just, the other thing too is like, when you were talking about like, should I save for this kit before it came out, is the price on it.
Do you feel like $6,000 is unfair, honestly? For a carbon real kit, like, again, when you take into account like Rocket Bunny and Liberty Walk and things like that, you think that it's honestly, like, it's a crap ton of money, but overpriced is the key word, overpriced. Do you think it's overpriced?
For mostly fiberglass, yes, I think it's overpriced. Think about it. I mean, okay, it's probably gonna be a lot of parts because it's 2 side skirts, 2 front fenders, a rear bumper, a wing, and what else? 2 rear over fenders? It's like 8, 9-ish, 10-ish parts.
You have the splitters and stuff too.
Okay, so like probably 12 or 13 parts. I still think it's overpriced.
For an entire, like a full kit with carbon, because how, like a full legit Rocket Bunny kit, you're looking at it
4. It's 4.
For the bumpers, fenders, everything?
$4,000.
And the splitters?
$4,000. For $4,500.
I don't know.
Look it up right now.
All right, let's see. We'll fact check it.
I just think if it's in the price range of like $5,000, it's fine. But for me, anything like above that 5,500 mark for a body kit, I just, unless you're putting it like on an exotic, in my opinion, I think it's too expensive. But
I just don't think that, like, I understand. Again, you're talking to someone who bought a rep Rocket Bunny kit because I thought that the price for that was...
I also bought a rep Rocket Bunny kit when I had my 350, and like the fitment issues on it were absolute crap, like atrocious. Like my fenders compared to yours, my tops were completely waved. I had to heat gun it and like fix it and do everything else. So I get like the quality and it's gonna fit perfect. So like when we saw his 400Z kit and his the new 86 platform kit, every body line on it was like absolutely perfect. So like you're paying for the fitment too,
yeah,
which is fine. But I still think $6,000 is just too expensive for a kit. Like, would you have saw me save $6,000 to drop $6,000 on that body kit when it came out?
No, like I know you would, but like, okay, so what do you think is a fair price for the kit?
Like, if it's like $1,000 cheaper. like 45.5, just like top end, high end kits?
I don't know, man.
Because if you think about it too, Liberty Walk kits are super expensive, but most of the time you put a Liberty Walk kit, it's like on, like look on their website, it's like NSX, S15, RX7, like JDM Legend cars. They have the 350Z one, but that one's like way too expensive.
Yep. And
it's a full front end conversion to a 370Z, which we saw that too at SEMA. That was throttles. But.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I can understand if it is a little less, but I just feel like it's kind of hard to price something, you know, like that, especially when you're talking real and you're comparing like the competitors and things like that. But
it just, in my opinion, if I had $6,000 to spend, and when I had my BRZ, instead of buying a body kit, for me, I would buy the authentic Rocket Bunny kit, even though I'm not even get into that. I think it's way overdone. That and a good set of wheels, because you can get almost both of those for the same price as just the kit.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, and it's such a new company, who knows, like prices might start dropping and stuff. And again, especially with it being like the super kit and things like that are a little more understandable because of like the price tag on the car itself.
Yeah.
So that makes sense when you're looking at like a Supra that's
a $60,000 car, or the 400.
Yeah. So and then in comparison, like the $6,000 kit isn't like that drastic. But when you're talking about a car that you can buy, like the BRZs that the kit is for, if you're talking about those cars that are, you know, selling from $8,000 to $15,000, and then you're spending like
a little bit plus if you're looking at a newer one.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, a lot of people are getting, you know, those price points, and then if you're looking at you bought the car for that much, and then you're looking at a kit that costs half.
Almost, yeah, like it's just too much for me.
So that's understandable.
I'm trying to think too, like what I was looking at for my 370Z right now. Like I paid $11,000 for that car, and then I forgot what somebody was telling me, but they're like, get this for it. I'm like, it was like $10,000 or something like that, and I was like, I'm not about to pay for something that that almost as much as my car.
Yeah. I mean, with that being said, we don't need to stay on the topic of
just
the Streethunter kit. So, but we'll go ahead and stay on the topic of BRZ. So what do you think the best BRZ kit is?
Aim game with a Toyota 86 front end conversion. To me, that kit is just like done beautiful. It's like so perfect in my opinion, and it's very similar to the Rallybacker. The front end's the exact same, and the rear end's roughly the same. And I know I've showed you it before. The Rallybacker goes further down on the quarter panel. Aim game goes a little bit higher, and then it stops a little bit higher. But because it has reverse mounted hardware, I just think it just looks so much better, and it's so much cleaner of a kit.
I mean, the reverse hardware is definitely nice, but again, my problem with it was because that's the one where the kit doesn't extend as far down in the back. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that I don't like very much. I personally like when a kit fully like engulfs what it's doing, and the fact that it just like stops at the end like that is definitely not it. And
that's what I'm saying too. Like, because I mean, nice kits cost a lot, and it's fine, but like at the same time, I just think there's a price point, like a fair price point, so it's more available to other people. And like, I understand too, like you want people to spend, like if you really want it or anything, you're gonna buy it. But at the same time, like you should be able to, like, I don't know. I don't know.
I understand, but once you start that conversation, then the conversation,
turns to money instead of
not even just that, but like that's everything car related. Like, this isn't a hobby for, people that don't have a job. Like cars as a hobby is expensive, and once you get into that conversation, then it gets into, okay, well, is anything
that could be another video?
Yeah, and that's where like at that one we'll have to get into it on a different thing, because that's an entirely its own topic on, are car parts overpriced or anything like that, which I mean,
and I have different opinions on that too. Like, and it's funny, I contradict myself on that stuff all the time, but
it's all good. Yeah, so I mean, all in all, I think it's a good kit. Like, I like it, but like if I put the Streethunter kit honestly next to what kit does PAX have? The Rocket Bunny V1, the V3. Okay. V3. If you put the V3 kit next to the Streethunter kit, personally, I like the V3 kit better. Not saying that the Streethunter kit isn't nice. It's just, it's almost, I don't know.
He wants to say it's too similar to.
No, I don't. I think that it's almost too tame. Like
the front end is really aggressive, and I
feel like it's not that aggressive. I feel like it just looks like the new gen bumpers. Like I feel like it's more of a conversion just to make the older ones look newer, and then with some wide body flare.
For me, don't even get me started on those rear vents though that are exposed in the back.
I
absolutely freaking hate it.
I mean, on the pictures, personally, I think that it looks good, but seeing it in person, because you know how I feel about like shelves on a car that don't agree with the body.
Nismo.
Yeah.
Nismo.
Yeah, Nismo. We're talking to you, even though Nissan guys. But I mean, in the picture, I don't mind it on that car, at least from what I've seen, just because it seems like it flows with the rest of the body lines of the car. Like if it was just out there and like none of the other car had any exposed vents or anything like that, and it was just those on the back, absolutely get them out of here. But
he almost said get them the fuck out of here.
But because it follows the body lines and everything, I don't see an issue with it. I think it flows. I think it fits the car well with the way that like the look is and everything. So I don't. No, that one I don't fully.
My opinion might change once we see it in person, but as of right now, like I'm gonna ask you, if you were to rate it 1 through 10, what would you give it?
I'd give it an 8. Like it's a good looking kit. I like it. I think all the body lines match. I think the theme of the car matches all the way through. Again, for me, it's a little tame. Like I expected, like the.
I mean, honestly, all his kits are pretty tame though.
I feel like the Super kit is not tame.
It's tame.
No way,
it is so tame. It follows every body line of that car.
But it accents them, and it's still like super like aggressive. Like you can follow body lines and it still be aggressive. Whereas like the C8,
it's
for
super
me,
tame.
When I see the Streethunter C8, like. Sometimes I have to like double take to make sure like, oh, okay, it does have the wide body kit on it. Like it changes so little of the car, in my opinion, that it, you know what I mean? Like that one.
I think for the C8 that he did, this is another topic too. I think the C8, the stock body parts were better than the wide body ones.
Yeah, and I agree. And again, that with the shape of the car and everything, like I feel like it didn't need the kits. Personal, and I get it. Like it's the brand Streethunter. You're trying to build something, and absolutely. But with that being said, not every car needs a wide body kit, and
the best one
just doesn't.
Hands down, 400Z.
Yeah, and I think TJ even agreed on that one. That one was one of, if not the best one that he's done. And I mean, seeing that one in pictures was one thing. Seeing all the body lines and everything in person was completely a whole nother thing. That car was done beautifully, but again, like that one accents the lines, but it also is like a kit. Like it makes it look aggressive.
Super aggressive.
Yeah, and with this BRZ kit, again, I think it does a lot of good, but it's just, and maybe it's a lack of like flare and stuff in the front. I just feel like it's a little tame.
When you look at it from the front head-on shots, it's like that, but if you look like the renders they did on the backside, you see all the vents, it's more aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. You gave it an 8. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm giving it a 4.
No way you're giving it. If
I'm 100% giving it a 4. Nope.
Again,
my opinion.
That's fine, but like your opinion has to have some basis.
There's like literally just really not that much I like about it.
Okay.
Like out of all of the kits he's done, I think it's the absolute
worst. But I think you're comparing it to other. I think you're comparing it to the other kits that he's doing and the other kits that are out there.
Yeah, and then you got to think about it too. I was also an owner of that car, so it's like imagine he came out with another one for like a 370 or a 350. If he came out with one for a 350, you're 100% gonna compare it to yours.
Yeah, absolutely. But
and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm not paying for that because mine looks like this and that's how I wanted it.
Well, yeah, but an 8 to me is just something that like looks absolutely terrible. Like the lines don't follow. It makes no sense, and it just like is either the same car or it's so different that it's dumb. Like the 350 Veilside kit, that for me,
that's a 0.
Is like a 4 or 5.
That's a 0.
But
it's the worst kit I think it's ever been created.
It's a terrible kit. It looks awful, but it still widens it, and it still like changes. You have to award it some sort of points. You have to give it some.
I gave it a 4.
That's not.
I gave it a 4. That's something.
Again, I think that judging is way too harsh. I think it's way better than a 4. And again, like, You
I
said
don't know. Like I told you yesterday, there's a few things that I didn't like. Like the vents in the back remind me of the Liberty Walk S15 kit, where it's super exposed on the backside. The other thing I had said too is like I just think it's too much of a, like the rear end is too comparable to the Rocket Bunny V3. And then the other thing I told you too that I just really didn't like too is I really disliked that he did exposed hardware on the side skirts and on the rear over fenders, but the front fenders have no exposed hardware. Like I feel like you either do it all exposed hardware or no exposed hardware. You can't do a mix of both.
I think we'll have to look at that when we see it, because when he had mentioned the kit, he had mentioned that like it would be able to be put on a BRZ that had already had a Rocket Bunny kit before and would use the same like holes and pieces that you used. So if that's,
but you can do that still and do it reverse mount, and because the holes are going to be in the same exact spot,
yeah, I guess,
and then they're not going to be exposed. I just don't like that. I mean, if you're going to do it on half the kit that, or two-thirds of the kit, do it on the whole kit.
Yeah.
Don't do it on just part of the kit, because it just doesn't. And you like stuff that flows.
Yeah.
You like single exit versus dual exit.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying it's definitely not my favorite Streethunter kit. It's not my favorite BRZ kit. It's not, plain and simple. But I can't, like, with the work that went into it, with like still the creativity that's there, with the fact that it still changes the car drastically and everything. Like for me, like, yeah, it's still too much that's put into it. It's still too good to rate it below a 5. Like a 7 might be the lowest that I'll go, just because of the hardware portion. But again, I understand not liking it, but it's not ugly. It's not.
I don't know. It's not my style. And that's just my opinion. That's why you guys can, and people watching on TikTok Live or here, you guys can roast me all you want, but that's just my opinion on it. I think from going, because I was super excited to like, oh, I'll probably buy this kit, to seeing, like, waiting, what, a year now?
Yeah.
Like roughly a year. And then selling my car because I was expecting it to come out sooner. Sold my car, and then got my Z now, and then now it came out. I was very underwhelmed with what it was. Because I just feel like he hyped it up so much. Was like, even on his Clips channel, he's like, this is one of the best kits that we've ever made. And like, I don't know. I disagree.
I think your expectations were just too high, and that's why it's coming in so hard for you. But yeah, understood. Anything else on this topic?
I think we're good for our first episode.
Yeah, episode.
I think we've talked for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, too. And again, it wasn't like definitely too freaking hot in here. We'll have to get that taken care of. I also tried having some non-copyright music in the back, and that didn't work out. And this is a very different thing, again, to talk to the camera this way and stuff. So, if this one isn't perfect, try not to judge us too hard.
Obviously, first time we've ever done anything like this.
Yeah, obviously these will get better. You guys commenting, letting us know what we could do differently, about how things are going and stuff like that. Your input definitely will make a difference. So just appreciate you for watching, and definitely giving an input on things that we might be able to work on and stuff. But
yeah, did anybody else say anything?
No, no. People were in and out and stuff on that one. But either way, thank you guys. We might try and do this once a week and get them uploaded, but we'll kind of play it by ear and go from there.
See how it goes.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys.
Peace out.